So first of all, thank a lot, Maro, to allowing me to do this interview, because this is a dream come true for myself, because well, I think probably you are the man I admire the most related to Magic, after Richard Garfield for sure.
Okay. Thank you, that's very nice.
So, well, there are many things I want to talk to you, but first of all is what do you think about the tournament, the format, the story as a whole. What do you think about it?
Well, I mean, I'm very happy. I mean, I think it's, I like block constructed. I like that format, because I think it is fun in Magic to be able to when we make a set, we like to design a set kind of in a vacuum, because obviously people play limited with it, but it's also fun to make a set in which, look, nothing else happens, this is all you care about. And block constructed really is taking that to the extreme of saying, well, look, Innistrad is these 3 sets, that's what it is, what can you do with this? And the neat thing about Magic is that the game is constantly changing, and that each year we try to do something different. And block constructed really is a neat way to sort of look at the year and say, well, this year, what's going on?
Yeah.
You know?
And the format, as it has turned out, it matches the idea you had when you were designing it.
Well, be aware, when I design, I don't, a lot of people think like I have some end state and I make cards to make that end state happen. That's not how I design. I just design the environment and I let the players figure out what that means. I have no idea that, you know, a particular deck is going to be good.
Development would do that, I think.
Well, not only that, also, I like to think of myself as a tool maker. Like, I make tools.
Yeah.
What people do with those tools, that's up to them. You know, my job isn't to say, you know, paint by what they call paint by numbers, where like, I'm going to tell you what to do and just you go through the act of doing it. No, I'm going to let you make what you make. I'm going to make cool things and you use them however you see fit. Okay. And I think I do my job when I come to events like this and see cool things happen, because I wouldn't have thought to do that, but it's neat that someone said, oh, well, I'm going to do this and this and this, and boom, here's what I'm doing. You know, and that's very exciting for me. I love coming to these events to see what players do with the cards.
Yeah, okay. Many related to this, the tools. Sometimes I'm afraid that Magic is running out of tools, or new tools to make. And this relates to the fact also that we are seeing more and more reimpressions. Well, that's my impression at least. Are you concerned about the viability, of the health of Magic in the future?
Well, I mean, I think the way it works is, once upon a time, we had this mindset of everything was disposable. Yeah, so we make it, throw it away, make it, throw it away. And we said, you know what? They're not disposable. There's a lot of neat mechanics. And because we use a mechanic once, that's it, it's gone? Well, no. If we think it's good, we should reuse it. Yeah. And I don't think we reuse things because we feel we have to. I think we reuse things because we want to. You know, I think that
you need to. That's my question.
Well, I mean, there's 2 advantages. I do believe, A, we want to. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy, for example, that each year we can bring things back. Yeah. You know, like, for example, Flashback was brought back in Innistrad. Well, Flashback's an awesome mechanic. People like it, it's very cool, you can do neat things with it, and it's fun to bring it back, and we get to do new things we didn't do before. But it does reserve, I mean, there is a limited amount of design space, and so one of the reasons we bring things back is it keeps us from chewing through space. We don't go through design space as fast as we would normally. So I mean, one of the effects of it is it helps preserve the game and make it last longer, but I also believe, like, it's good to bring back things people like. So I mean, I think that's the beauty of it, it does both things.
So, I understand that you design sets taking into account your market research?
Well, one of the things that happens is we do sets, we call them Godbook studies, but we ask people, what do you think of this card, what do you think of that card, and we get feedback on it. Plus we have data from Magic Online, we know people play Magic Online, so we have a lot of data, what people like and don't like, and so we take that into account. I mean, I think any business, you know, you do stuff, you see what your audience likes, and what you know, and then you try to adapt to that. And so one of the things I'm very big on is communicating with the audience, because I want to know what people like and don't like. I want them to tell me, and then I adapt and I use that, because each year I want to learn from the year before. And I feel like we're 19 years in now in Magic, and I feel like, why is the game better than it was 19 years ago? Because we have 19 years worth of data that we've collected. Yeah. You know, that, you know, we're standing on the shoulders of giants, as they say. That we like. I mean, Richard made an awesome game, and we just keep improving upon it. And I feel like, you know, 19 years in, you know, the game's even better just because we've learned.
Yeah, because this market research, or this player's opinion, as for example, Zach Hill talked about this in the last year column development, regarding to Cavern of Souls. As I read, your market research states that players don't like their things being countered.
Well, to be fair, once again, there's a wide number of players, and so different players like different things.
Yeah.
Certain players really love counter spells, but they're in the minority, meaning the majority of players, what we've learned is, you know what's fun about Magic? Getting to play your spells.
For sure. But the thing is, well, taking into account that I've not had the opportunity yet to test the new format because I play mostly online.
Okay.
What worries me the most is to see Magic turning into a repetitive game. For example, the mirror in War Run Magic decks. I don't know if you're, you know what I mean. I don't think it takes too much skill to play a good game with it because it's very easy to win with them if you have the right cards.
Okay.
Because, in my opinion, I think counter spells lead to a much skillful, let's say, I don't like this word, but skillful game. You are not worried, I think this question appears a lot, but aren't you worried to be dumbing out the game too much?
No, well, I mean, people all talk about dumbing down the game, and I think that's kind of a false. I mean, Magic is a very complex game, a very complex game. And I think one of the things that people are attracted to is that we say it's a deep rabbit hole, that there's a lot to learn and a lot to discover, and that part of Magic is the exploration of the game. But that doesn't mean that we can't try to figure out what people like and don't like and push in that direction. I do believe there's a lot of skill testing that can happen between very aggressive decks.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and one of the things we always want is we always want answers. You know, Magic has threats, Magic has answers. We want to make sure we provide answers along with the threats because you want to make sure sideboarding is very important. That's why we have sideboards. Is we want to have cards that go, well, maybe you don't normally play this, but against a certain deck, we always talk about how we want to have answers for things, and that if I know what you're playing, I should be able to have an answer for it.
Yeah. Sometimes, yes, I agree, but I have the feeling that lately these answers have been blunter than it were in the past. Blunter, more dumber if you want. For instance, Creeping Corrosions, Graphic Gates, and lately Cavern of Souls. I think that in the past these answers were a little bit more elegant,
more subtler maybe.
Yeah, but maybe due to this they were not as efficient as they are in the past, and we had to suffer things like Ravagability.
Well, one of the things that if you look in the past, Magic every once in a while will have where some deck becomes so dominant that it sort of pushes everything else out of the environment, and we're trying hard not to have that happen. You know, it is not fun to say, oh, well, everybody's playing deck X. You know, back in the days, it was a Necro deck and, you know, Fairies or Affinity, or I mean, whatever. There's been different decks throughout time.
But maybe due to this, now you put very blunt tools in the very same format than the new mechanic.
But, for example, Cavern of Souls, just like in John Finkel's deck, the deck, Sam Black designed it. But, I mean, it was a deck in which it very efficiently used that card to do some good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like it's not necessarily that we're trying to be blunt, but we're trying to make sure that there are clear answers to things that are going on. I mean, we're still going to have counter magic. We're still going to have counter spells. The answer is, it's not that we don't want counter spells. We do. Is we want to make sure that they're interactive and that there's not...
But it's balanced.
Right. I mean, we don't want the deck of... My deck is all counter spells and, you know, land. That's not particularly fun. You know, we do want some counter spells. We do want some interaction. And to be honest... A good counterspell in the right way in which I'm making careful decisions what to counter, that is fun. Yeah. You never doing anything, that's not fun.
Yeah, but I'm afraid that maybe Graphic Skates, for example, has led out to not having a Burning Vengeance based deck in the metagame.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm in design,
you
so a little more development here, but I mean, one of the things development is trying to do is, in a healthy metagame, is just make sure there's lots of choices. Make sure that you're not forced to do one thing, that you have options. Yeah. I mean, Magic is better when there are options. We want people to be able to choose between things. Yeah. You know, and so the healthy metagame is which there's multiple decks that all have different choices that you can make. Okay. And I feel like right now, I mean, the metagame I think is in a pretty good place.
I think so because I play a lot of Magic and Standard in Magic Online. And that's just finishing with this interview, just a personal question. Do you think it's possible that we will see any model application for iPad iOS devices?
Well, I mean, the iPad, the Duels of the Planeswalkers is coming to iPad this summer.
But Magic Online, a client for...
Well, first let's start with Duels of the Planeswalkers and see how that goes. I mean, Magic Online has a lot more... there's a lot more going on, a lot more moving pieces, if you will. You know, I mean, the Duels of Planeswalkers is a nice model to sort of see. And I think the good news is we're finally getting to the iPad as a you know, a medium to let people play Magic on, and we're testing the waters. So, I mean, I think Duels will be a really good experiment to see how the iPad works. I don't know all the technical stuff. I mean, it is very complex, and I know that Magic Online is much more complex than, you know, Duels of Planeswalkers, because Duels has a much more limited card supply and the rules are simpler, where Magic Online has to support, you know, a much more robust Magic ecosystem. But the good news is, hey, we're dipping our toe in, you know, and I feel like if that goes well, it increases the chances, you know, down the road.
Well, that was all, so thanks a lot, Maro. She's also happy for having model for iPad, and let's hope you keep doing such a good job as you do now with Magic.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.